Good afternoon to you and welcome to your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. In our headlines this afternoon, Chinese oil partners set to recover $39.4 billion for decommissioning. Ramjatan sent 12 cops to the U.S. to learn to ride bicycles the country donated to Guyana. And police captured bandits heading to robbery. Stay tuned to stay informed. And now for the news in details. The news at this time, I am Joshua Van Sleckman. I take this opportunity to say thank you for joining us. After a careful review of the company's latest financial statement, Chartered Accountant Christopher Ram has found that CNOOC Petroleum Guyana Limited, the Chinese partner with a 25% stake in the Stabroek block, is poised to recover $39.4 billion for the decommissioning of wells and facilities for the Liza Phase 1 project. Decommissioning is a practice that occurs when an oil-producing field is nearing its end. It entails the safe removal of pipelines and other infrastructure that were fixed to the ocean floor to extract the oil. Since this exercise runs into millions of dollars, oil-producing countries oftentimes establish a fund so that the operator can make deposits to handle those expenses when the time comes. If the money that accumulated over the time is found to be less, the company is required to meet the shortfall. If the money is found to be in excess, a reimbursement is issued. This is a standard industry practice. Guyana's petroleum sharing agreement with ExxonMobil, Hess, and CNOOC does not conform to the international best practice, which ultimately safeguards the interest of the nation. Meanwhile, former Minister of Public Security Kemraj Ramjatan had 12 members from the Guyana Police Force and the Georgia City Constab to the USA to acquire special riding skills for quote-unquote high-class bicycles which the country donated to Guyana. We learned of this after a civilian was caught examining one of the bicycles. While doing so, the individual was told to be careful as it is a quote-unquote high-class bicycle and ranks had to be sent overseas to learn how to ride it. The individual related that they became curious and asked to do a test. After being permitted to do so, the individual noted that the only difference between the bicycle and the force's donated bike was that there was a rash brakes and the seat is very comfortable. According to reports, 200 of the high-class bicycle along with accessories were donated to the Guyana Police Force by the USA's Department of State through the Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement. An article posted on the U.S. Embassy in Guyana's website noted that the bicycle cost $145,000. They were handed over to Ramjatan, who at the time was in charge of public security. The Guyana Police Force received 170 bicycles and the City Constabulary received 30. The USA had told Guyana that they will be providing training for some of its officers to learn how to ride the bikes. The training commenced on November 28, 2016 and concluded on December 2nd, 2016. An undiscovered operations by police on Thursday led to the arrest of 4 bandits who were on their way to rob a businessman. The 4 bandits were captured between 17 hours 50 and 19 hours in Hammerville, Georgetown. According to information, the men are known criminals by the police and were being investigated for a number of suspected robberies. The Guyana Police Force stated that its ranks first cornered one of the bandits, a 23-year-old, at a location in Hammerville. They searched him and found an axe and a knife in his possession. The cops grilled him and put forward the allegations to him that he was on his way to commit a robbery. Realizing that he was caught, he decided to cooperate with the ranks and led them to arrest his accomplice. He took cops to a house in John Street, Hammerville, where one of the accomplices was found in the front yard. It is your newscast right here on the Kaieteur Radio. Coming up after the break, Guyana yet to install 5 IMF recommendations, man shot for being in wrong neighborhood, and COVID-19 takes life of Region 10 chairman. Stay tuned to stay informed. And now for the news in detail. Over the past 5 years, the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, has been one of Ghana's key partners in the technical capacity needed to properly govern the oil and gas sector. In addition to this, the financial institution has been at the forefront of highlighting many loopholes in Guyana's oil deal, as well as the regulatory framework, which can aid in loss. This has produced several reports in 2015 to now, which offer critical records of the prudent advice it has offered in these documents. There has been no significant progress by Ghana's political leadership on this front. A 23-year-old man was forced to run away from a house party yesterday after he was beaten and shot to his lower right leg for being in the wrong neighborhood. The wrong neighborhood was identified as Pleasant area, East Coast, Democrat. The individual was beaten and shot around 45 minutes after midnight. He told police that he was about to pour himself a drink at the party when the shooter approached him. Before beating him, the suspect reportedly told the victim that he was in the wrong neighborhood. The suspect then began slapping him several times. It is understood that the victim was able to free himself from the beating and ran to find his bicycle. He was riding out of the yard. He saw the suspect chasing behind and decided to ride faster. The victim claimed that he looked back and saw the suspect pulling out what looked like a gun. He then heard a loud explosion and felt a sharp pain in his lower right leg, which started to bleed. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur News. And in some sad news, we tell you now that Vice Chairman of Region 10, Regional Democratic Council, Douglas Gittins, on Sunday passed away from COVID-19 complications at the COVID-19 unit. He was admitted to the unit in Region 10 on Friday after experiencing several symptoms of the virus, including loss of taste. He was subsequently tested for the virus and the results returned positive. As release said that the RDC will certainly miss the dedication and commitment to the public service that Vice Chairman Douglas had, and again extended sympathy to the family and relatives and friends. Gittins served as councillor in the recent previous council before being elected as regional vice chairman. He started his career as a politician about 10 years ago. Gittins also served as the vice chairman of the People's National Congress Reform, PNCR, Region 10 chapter. Stay with us right here on Kaieteur Radio. After the break, it is time for your COVID-19 update and your page 7 of the Kaieteur News that is dedicated to being blunt. Welcome back. 12 hours 15 in Guyana and right across the Eastern Caribbean. We turn our attention to your COVID-19 updates. The Ministry of Health yesterday announced that 2 men who tested positive for the novel coronavirus have died. As a result of this, the country's COVID-19 death toll is now 426. According to the ministry's press release, the latest fatalities are a 63-year-old from Region 6 and a 71-year-old from Region 10. Further, the Health Ministry in its daily COVID-19 dashboard recorded 83 new COVID-19 cases, taking the total number of confirmed cases to 13,386. The dashboard also shows that 23 patients are in the COVID-19 intensive care unit, 115 persons are in institutional isolation, 1,542 in home isolation, and 4 persons are quarantined institutionally. To date, 16,280 recoveries have been recorded. And we now turn our attention to page 7 of the Kaieteur News that is dedicated to being blunt. Everybody is making handsome money with Guyana's oil. The Chinese made a 9.3 billion profit in 2020, but Guyanese are making next to nothing. The Americans are making good money too. Exxon is doing very well in Guyana's oil. Hess can't even count the money reaped from Guyana, and it is already planning for the next 5 to 10 years for more, and more money from Guyana. But how is Guyana doing? Don't ask, it is shameful. Now we are hearing that the French suddenly wants to help Guyana rather. Don't be fooled, Guyanese. All these bloodsuckers want to do is help themselves to our wealth. They get the fruits, and we get screwed. And with that, we've come to the end of your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Let me remind you that you can get the full details of these stories and much more by picking up a copy of the Kaieteur News at the newsstand near you, or head across to our website at kaieteurnewsonline.com. I'm Joshua Van Sleckman. Thank you for joining us. Coming up after the break is going to be time for a short presentation by the publisher of the Kaieteur News, Dr. Glenn Lal, on your oil wealth, and encouraging you to join in this evening at 19 hours 20 for the Monday edition of the Glenn Lal Show. Immediately after that, it's going to be time for the National Outlook with GHK Lal. So,
want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your